You've spent your entire life trying to be liked, and it's made you weak. Not physically weak, but psychologically impotent. Unable to say no. Unable to stand for anything. Unable to be anything more than a pleasant reflection of what others want to see. Carl Jung understood something most people die without learning. Being liked is the consolation prize for those who fail to earn respect. Jung witnessed this tragedy repeatedly. Brilliant individuals reduced to performing seals, betraying their own nature for applause that means nothing. They smile when they want to scream, agree when they disagree, shrink themselves to fit into spaces too small for their souls. They're liked, sure, but they're also invisible, forgettable, ultimately irrelevant. The psychology behind our desperate need to be liked is rooted in primitive survival mechanisms. The child who wasn't liked by their parents might not survive. The tribe member who wasn't liked got exiled, which meant death. But we're not children anymore, and exile from most modern tribes would be liberation, not catastrophe. Yet we still operate from this ancient programming, contorting ourselves for approval from people we don't even respect. Jung identified this as living through the persona, the mask we wear to be acceptable. But here's what he discovered. The more you invest in your persona, the more you betray what he called the self, your authentic nature. Every time you choose being liked over being real, you murder a piece of yourself. And corpses, no matter how well dressed, don't command respect. Respect operates on entirely different psychological mechanics than likability. Being liked is about making others comfortable. Respect is about making them recognize something formidable in you, something that can't be dismissed or patronized. Liked people get invited to parties. Respected people get invited to make decisions. Liked people are pleasant. Respected people are powerful. I watched this play out with two colleagues. Sarah was universally liked. Always smiling, always agreeable, always available. Tom was more selective with his warmth, direct with his opinions, comfortable with disagreement. When a leadership position opened, everyone said they'd love to work for Sarah. But when the decision was made, Tom got the role. Later, someone admitted, Sarah's sweet, but Tom's someone you take seriously. Jung understood that respect requires what most people fear most, revealing your shadow, not your evil side, but your capacity for darkness, your ability to say no, to fight, to destroy when necessary. People who are only liked have disowned their shadow, presenting themselves as harmless. But harmlessness isn't virtue, it's impotence. A person who cannot harm cannot protect. A person who cannot destroy cannot create. A person who cannot say no has no power to say yes. The dark power Jung refers to isn't about being cruel or manipulative. It's about integrating your capacity for necessary darkness. The ability to disappoint others to maintain your integrity. The strength to be disliked when being liked requires self-betrayal. The courage to reveal aspects of yourself that make others uncomfortable but command their respect. Think about the people you truly respect. Are they the agreeable ones who never rock the boat? Or are they the ones who stand for something, who have boundaries, who can weather others' disapproval without crumbling? Respect is earned through demonstrations of strength, not displays of pleasantness. And strength often requires being temporarily or permanently unliked. Here's what happens when you stop trying to be liked. Initially, people are confused. You've changed the unspoken contract. They were comfortable with the you who always said yes, who never challenged them, who made them feel good about themselves. This new you, who has opinions, boundaries, standards, is inconvenient. Some will try to push you back into your old shape through guilt, manipulation, or withdrawal of approval. This is the test. Most people fold here, apologizing for having boundaries, retreating back into likability. But if you hold steady, something shifts. The same people who were upset by your boundaries begin to treat you differently. They stop taking you for granted. They consider your opinion more carefully. They respect your time because you've shown it's not freely available to anyone who wants it. Jung called this process individuation. Becoming who you truly are rather than who others need you to be. It requires sacrificing the false harmony of being liked for the genuine power of being yourself. This isn't about becoming antisocial or needlessly confrontational. It's about prioritizing authenticity over approval, respect over comfort, truth over harmony. The fear of being disliked is really the fear of abandonment. But here's what Jung understood. When you're liked for your persona, you're already abandoned. People are relating to your mask, not you. You're surrounded by others, but existentially alone, because no one knows who you really are. You've abandoned yourself for the illusion of connection. Real connection requires real presence. You can't be genuinely known if you're constantly shape-shifting to be liked. You can't be truly loved if you never reveal the parts of yourself that might be rejected. You can't be deeply respected if you're always choosing the path of least resistance. I knew a manager who learned this lesson painfully. For years, he tried to be everyone's friend, avoiding difficult conversations, never giving harsh feedback, always trying to keep everyone happy. His team liked him, but didn't respect him. They came late to his meetings, ignored his deadlines, went over his head when they disagreed with decisions. Then he went through what he called his dark night of leadership. He started having the difficult conversations. He set clear boundaries. He gave honest feedback even when it hurt. He made decisions that upset people. Initially, several team members complained to HR. 2 requested transfers. He went from being the most liked to the most controversial manager. But within 6 months, his team's performance had transformed. The people who remained worked harder, communicated more honestly, and achieved things they never had before. When asked about the change, one team member said, "We used to like him because he was nice. Now we respect him because he's real." And honestly, that respect has grown into a much deeper kind of liking. Jung's insight was that respect and being liked aren't mutually exclusive, but respect must come first. When you prioritize being liked, you get neither genuine liking nor respect. When you prioritize respect, self-respect first, then others' respect, you often end up being liked anyway, but for who you actually are rather than for your performance. The shadow work required to unlock respect is uncomfortable. You must face the parts of yourself you've hidden to be acceptable. Your anger that you've buried under niceness. Your ambition that you've disguised as contentment. Your power that you've diminished to avoid threatening others. These aren't character flaws to be eliminated, but essential aspects of your wholeness to be integrated. Jung knew that a person who has integrated their shadow doesn't need to act it out destructively because they are not repressing it. They can access their darkness consciously when needed, to defend boundaries, to fight for principles, to destroy what needs to be destroyed, to create what needs to be created. The practical application starts with small acts of prioritizing respect over likability, disagreeing in a meeting when you normally would stay silent, saying no to a request that violates your boundaries, expressing an unpopular opinion, taking a stand on something that matters to you. Each act feels like death to your persona, but is actually birth to your authentic self. Notice your body's response when you choose respect over being liked. The initial anxiety, the fear of rejection, the urge to apologize and retreat. These are the death throes of your false self. But notice also the feeling that comes after, a solidity, a groundedness, a sense of existing more fully. This is what Jung called the self, emerging from behind the persona. The people who will leave your life when you stop prioritizing being liked are doing you a favor. They were never connected to you anyway, just to your performance. Their departure creates space for people who can appreciate your authenticity, who want to engage with your actual self rather than your mask. These new relationships feel different, more real, more nourishing, based on genuine recognition rather than mutual performance. Women often face particular pressure to prioritize being liked over being respected. Cultural conditioning teaches that female value comes from being pleasant, accommodating, non-threatening. But Jung observed that women who integrate their masculine shadow, their capacity for assertiveness, aggression, and independence, become forces of nature. They lose some superficial likability, but gain profound respect, and ultimately, more authentic relationships. Men face their own version, the pressure to be liked as nice guys while suppressing their authentic masculine power. Jung noted that men who integrate their feminine shadow while maintaining their masculine core don't become soft. They become formidable. They can be gentle without being weak, caring without being needy, emotional without being unstable. The dark power of respect that Jung describes isn't about domination or cruelty. It's about psychological sovereignty, ruling yourself so completely that others recognize you as someone to be taken seriously. It's about having such clear boundaries that others know exactly where they stand with you. It's about being so committed to your truth that lying to you becomes pointless. Here's the paradox. The people who genuinely respect you will often like you more deeply than those who only liked your persona. Respect creates a different quality of liking. Not the shallow affection given to pleasant people, but the deep appreciation for someone who has shown you their truth, including their darkness. This kind of liking can withstand conflict, disappointment, and disagreement because it's based on recognition of the whole person, not just their pleasant parts. The corporate world is full of liked people going nowhere and respected people rising, regardless of whether they're liked. The liked ones get invited to lunch. The respected ones get invited to lead. The liked ones are told they're nice. The respected ones are told they're valuable. The liked ones are missed when they're gone. The respected ones are irreplaceable while they're there. Jung would point out that choosing respect over being liked is actually an act of compassion. When you show up authentically, including your shadow, you give others permission to do the same. Your unwillingness to betray yourself for approval shows them it's possible to exist without constant performance. Your integration of darkness shows them that wholeness is achievable. The final insight Jung offers is this: being liked is often about being useful to others' egos. You make them feel good, important, superior. But respect is about being recognized as a force in your own right. You're not a supporting character in their story, but the protagonist of your own. You're not a mirror for their narcissism, but a separate being with your own power. Stop trying to be liked. Not because being liked is bad, but because trying to be liked is psychological suicide. Start respecting yourself enough to risk others' disapproval. Start integrating your shadow so you have access to your full power. Start showing up as who you are rather than who you think others want you to be. The path from being liked to being respected is treacherous. You'll lose approval, face criticism, weather rejection. But on the other side is something infinitely more valuable than being liked: being real. And real people, Jung knew, naturally command respect. The dark power of respect isn't dark because it's evil. It's dark because it requires you to descend into your shadow, to face what you've hidden, to integrate what you've rejected. But this darkness is where your power lies, and when you emerge, you won't need to demand respect. Your very presence will command it. That's Jung's invitation. Stop performing for applause and start existing with such authenticity that respect becomes inevitable. Stop being liked by everyone and start being respected by those who matter. Stop betraying yourself for approval and start honoring yourself regardless of approval. The dark power of respect is waiting for you to claim it. All you have to do is stop trying to be liked long enough to become who you really are.